began with the first Napoleon, was continued by the third. Under Napoleon I, Italy got its first taste of unification. The great emperor combined the many states of the Italian peninsula into one unified province in his empire. However, this closeness brought by Napoleon would not last. In 1815, Napoleon was exiled to St. Helena, and his empire diminished to nothing but a story of the past. The moment Italy got its first taste of unification, they wanted more, and they were determined to get it. The Risorgimento was a nationalist movement that focused on liberation and unification. However, they were forced to conduct their meetings in silence. Secret societies were formed, one being Carboni.
Did you hear? The word is spreading.
Of course it is! With the Young Italy movement, word is sure to get around.
Giuseppe Mazzini is a blessing sent from God. Who else would have thought of such a movement? Giuseppe Mazzini was perhaps the most famous Carbonari of all. When he came into power, he called for the Young Italy movement, which asked people from all around Italy to spread the word and messages of Risorgimento. With his help, the lessons and principles quickly became known, and more people began to rise up and revolt against their foreign rulers.
With encouragement from Mazzini, the Italians began to revolt. In 1848, there were several revolts in the Italian states led by nationalists. Austrian rule was overthrown in the states of Lombardy and Vienna. Other Italian state rulers were forced to agree to constitutions set by the people. The nationalists were able to capture Rome in 1849, where they set up a republic governed by Mazzini and two other leaders.
Congratulations, Giuseppe. Italy is ours.
Yes, great job, sir. Finally, united Italy.
Toast. Here's to a new republic.
However, this celebration did not last long. In just 1 year, the Austrians recaptured their former possessions, while monarchs from other states returned to power. The Kingdom of Sardinia was the only state that stayed independent. With little success in their fight for unification, the Italians began to call for a federation of states ruled under the Pope. Others were strongly against this, as the Pope had not supported the revolt in 1849. Instead, they wished for a constitutional monarchy under King Victor Emmanuel II. However, because Sardinia was a constitutional monarchy, Camillo Sodus Cavar, the prime minister who truly ruled the government.
Cavour could be considered a great ruler. He established banks, factories, and railroads in Sardinia and improved trade. He tried to decrease the power of the church, believing in the separation between church and state. He slowly brought Sardinia into power and siding with France and Great Britain during the time of the war.
Napoleon III wanted to increase French power. When Cavour proposed an alliance between France and Italy against Austria, Napoleon found this a way to possibly dominate the Italian states after the Austrians were driven out.
Cavour and Napoleon met in secret and agreed that if Austria could be provoked into war, France would send troops to support Italy. In return, France would receive Nice and Savoie.
As promised, Napoleon III sent troops to support the war with Austria. Together, the Sardinian and French forces drove the Austrian forces out of Lombardy. In Tuscany, Modena, and Parma, patriots threw their Austrian rulers and asked to be annexed into Sardinia. However, Napoleon had not anticipated Italy uniting this way and began to fear Prussia joining Austria.
Napoleon signed an armistice with Austria and Sardinia, receiving Lombardy, but Austria kept Venetia, as well as having Austrian rulers reinstated in Tuscany, Modena, and Parma. He insisted on receiving Nice and Savoy. King Victor Emmanuel II agreed to their demands, fearing that he would lose what he had gained. But the Italian people still had hopes, and it was not long until the Austrian rulers were once again repealed and soon revolts in Romagna. One of Italy's most well-known heroes was Giuseppe Garibaldi. Garibaldi was a firm believer in united Italy. As a young man, he was involved with the Young Italy movement before fleeing the peninsula. Without Garibaldi, it was very possible that Italy would not have been united. This led the way to Italian freedom in the southern half of Italy. This hero and his army of 1,000 red-shirt soldiers conquered southern Italy, freeing the people from their foreign rulers.
Sardinian Chief Minister Cavar was afraid of Garibaldi's popularity. He feared that the hero might replace King Victor and himself as the leader of Italy. Cavar sent troops to slow Garibaldi's progress. To help ease Cavar and King Victor's mind, Garibaldi asked only to serve as governor of Naples under them. The king refused Garibaldi's request.
In the end, every Italian state except Rome and Venetia voted to become a union under the King of Sardinia. Victor Emmanuel II became the King of Italy, and the Italian states were finally united to form one.
Things were far from perfect. United Italy still faced many problems, including the fact that many citizens did not know how to self-govern, and regions were very divided by cultural traditions. It was not long before tension grew between the North and the South. Italy engaged in several military adventures in Africa and in the late 1880s. In 1912, the conquest of Libya strengthened Italy in the Mediterranean, but the country was still very much divided.